Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Change your pants are begin in 5 minutes. Please take your seats. Those of you carrying cell phones, ask you to turn them off or put them in silent mode for the grace of the ceremony. I'm Captain Christian Glander, Chief of Staff of the 1st Coast Guard District. I'll be serving as your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. On behalf of Admiral Tom Allen, Commander of the 1st Coast Guard District, I welcome you to today's Change of Command ceremony. The Change of Command ceremony's purpose is to formally affirm members of the 1st Coast Guard District continuity command. The ceremony is a time-honored tradition that has not been changed in concept for hundreds of years. It's a transfer of total responsibility, authority, and accountability from one individual to another. Today, Rear Admiral John Walker will relieve Rear Admiral Tom Allen as Commander of the 1st Coast Guard District. Presiding over today's ceremony is Vice Admiral Steve Cooler, Commander of the Atlantic Area Defense Overseas. The chaplain for today's ceremony is Lieutenant Commander James Reagan, United States Navy Chaplain Corps. And the Command Master Chief for today's ceremony is Master Chief Thomas Gann. I'd also like to recognize the Coast Guard band, brass quartet, and the leadership of Penny Austin First Lane for their outstanding musical presentation this morning. Members of our Coast Guard family, including military guests who are seated in the audience, are requested to remain on harbor for the duration of the ceremony, but will come to attention when requested. I will salute for you when salutes are required. Today, we meet in historic Faneuil Hall, which has been one of the central meeting places in Boston for over 270 years. Faneuil Hall has also served the defense of our country since 1746 as the operating base of the ancient and honorable Artillery Company of Massachusetts. It is an appropriate place to say farewell to our commander and welcome a new commander who both contribute to the defense and security of this country by their service to the United States Coast Guard. It is my pleasure to recognize several of our distinguished guests today. Admiral Allen's wife Kim, sons Connor and Ryan. Additionally joining us virtually today is Admiral's son Tyler and his wife Alex, along with their twin children Miley and Harper. And Admiral Allen's daughter Amanda, his parents Tom and Billy, and Mrs. Allen's parents Bruce and Judy Wolf. Admiral Walker is accompanied by his wife Leah, daughter Ella, mother Pamela, and father John. We also have several other distinguished guests present today. Mr. Jim Campbell, representing the Honorable Ed Markey, United States Senator from Massachusetts. Mr. Justin Troiano, representing the Honorable Maggie Hansen, United States Senator from New Hampshire. Mr. Patrick Carroll, representing the Honorable Chief Pius, United States Representative from the District, 1st District, New Hampshire. The Honorable Peter Abbott, Consul General of Great Britain. The Honorable Michael Passero, Mayor of the United States Coast Guard City, United States Coast Guard City of New London. Lieutenant General L. Scott Rice, U.S. Air Force, retired former Adjutant General and Commander of the Massachusetts National Guard. Major General Douglas Farnham, U.S. Air Force, Adjutant General, Marine National Guard. Admiral Joseph Stervidio, U.S. Coast Guard retired. Admiral Roy Nash, U.S. Coast Guard retired. Admiral Daniel May, U.S. Coast Guard retired. Brigadier General Joseph Milano, U.S. Army, retired, Honorary Consul General to Thailand. Brigadier General Jack Heyman, U.S. Army, retired. Rear Admiral Chad Carey, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, Deputy Director of Operations, Office of Marine and Aviation Operations. Joseph Bonavolante, Special Agent in Charge, Federal Bureau of Investigations, Boston Field Office. Mr. Matt McCann, Captain, U.S. Coast Guard retired, Regional Director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Mr. William Cullen, Homeland Security Emergency Services Director of Security Operations. Acting Chief Patrol Agent Keith Cox, U.S. Border Patrol, Swanton Sector. James Ferguson, Special Agent in Charge of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Boston Field Division. Commodore Byron Lowe, Coast Guard Auxiliary, 1st District, North Region. Commodore Mark Stone, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, 1st District, South Region. Additionally, joining us virtually today, Admiral Robert J. Papp, U.S. Coast Guard retired, former Commandant, United States Coast Guard. Vice Admiral Sally Rice O'Hare, U.S. Coast Guard retired, former Vice Commandant, United States Coast Guard. Vice Admiral Sandra Stowe, U.S. Coast Guard retired, former Deputy Commandant of Mission Support, Vice Admiral James Hall, retired, former Atlantic Area Commander and Chairman of the Foundation for Coast Guard History. The Honorable Carla Friedman, United States Attorney for the Northern District of New York. I'd also like to welcome all past First District auxiliary commodores and captains, representatives from the Coast Guard cities of New York, Rockland, Maine, Lowell, Massachusetts, and Newburyport, Massachusetts, members of the Ancient and Honorable Artillery Company of Massachusetts, and finally, welcome to all sector commanders, commanding officers, officers in charge of First Coast Guard units, other members of the Coast Guard family, and our many other distinguished guests here today. All hands to quarters.
Platoon, attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to the arrival of official party. The members of honor will stand for the presentation of colors, the national anthem, and the invocation. Now, Rear Admiral, United States Coast Guard, arrival. Now, First Coast Guard District, arrival. Now, Atlantic area, arrival. And salute. Ready, two. Please remain standing for the presentation of colors, the national anthem, and invocation. Uncovered military members for immediate attention. Other guests, put your hands over your hearts. Color guard, present the colors. And salute. Captain Ray will now deliver the invocation.
Good morning. I invite you to pray with me. Gracious God who protects and watches over us, we thank you for your presence among us as we gather to participate in the time-honored tradition of the changing of command for the 1st Coast Guard District. Thank you for the wisdom inherent in this ceremony in which the authority of command transitions from one outstanding leader to the next, assuring us all continuity and strength. We are grateful for this opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments and leadership of Rear Admiral Allen as District Commander. Under his guidance, he inspired and empowered us to be the very best at our crafts as we executed our statutory missions with operational excellence, doing what we do by hitting it hard and fast. Thank you for his exemplary leadership as we emulated him in caring for one another, supporting our families, and finding the fun in all that we do. We ask your blessings for fair winds and falling seas upon him and Mrs. Allen as a new chapter of their Coast Guard journey in Miami unfolds before them. As Rear Admiral Mocker assumes the role as District Commander, may he lean not only upon his expertise and experiences, which truly prepared him well for this assignment, but also upon your infinite knowledge and strength. Under his leadership, may we take the next step forward as we do our part in prevention and response, always ready to help maintain maritime safety, security, and stewardship throughout the D1 area of responsibility as those who are first to lead. Bless him and his family as they graft into life in Boston and into our 1st Coast Guard family. So God, we thank you. Thank you for this time of celebration and of recognition. May this ceremony honor these two men and our command well, but most importantly, may it glorify you. And it's in your holy name I pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Platoon commanders, prepare the platoon for inspection. Ladies and gentlemen, the district commander and prospective district commander will now inspect the honor platoon. Time-honored part of the change of command ceremony. The original intent of this inspection was to ensure the fitness of the crew for the entire command. The contemporary ceremonies allow the outgoing commander an opportunity to express his gratitude for the sample of the Christmas children. Platoon commander, dismiss the honor platoon. It's now my pleasure to introduce our presiding official, Commander Coast Guard Atlantic Area, Vice Admiral Steve Poole. Vice Admiral Poole is currently serving as Commander of Atlantic Area, where he serves as the operational commander for all Coast Guard missions in the Rocky Mountains, the Arabian Gulf, spanning across 5 Coast Guard districts in 40 states. He also serves as Commander of the U.S. Coast Guard Defense Force East, which provides U.S. Coast Guard mission support for the Department of Defense and combatant commanders, and is presidentially appointed as Director of Joint Task Force East, which provides U.S. Coast Guard mission support for the Department of Homeland Security. He was previously Director of Operations of the Defense Department's U.S. Southern Command.
What a great day in Boston. What a great day to be in New England. Chaplain, beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Pastor Gonzalez, thank you for that. Thanks for setting a good tone for us here to start off this ceremony. Thank you. And to our Coast Guard Academy band, thanks for coming up from London and being here. I'm going to see you in a couple weeks, I think, down in Yorktown, Virginia. So great. Good to see you as well. Round of applause. I love Boston, and I love this venue. So much history. Boston always feels like coming home to me. It's a great community, and it's home to so many Coast Guard women and men and their families. We never have a problem getting people to come to the 1st Coast Guard District. Our problem is getting them to leave. We have a lot of homesteaders here in Boston. I've been looking forward to this. We're conducting it in person. It's great to see everybody. We look wonderful. No masks on, and that's good. I count it as a great privilege to be here to share this moment with you as we observe the manners of our profession and witness the transfer of command between Rear Admiral Tom Allen and Rear Admiral John Munger. Let me join the MC, Chris Blander, in extending a warm and special welcome to all of our distinguished guests that are here, our family and our friends. I want to especially recognize the tremendous support of Admiral Allen's family, those who know him as Tom and Dad and Grandpa as well. So, Kim, it's great seeing you again. Thank you down front here. I met Connor and Ryan this morning. It's great to see you as well. And out there in virtual land, Amanda's looking on, I think, Tyler, and your daughter-in-law, Alex. And they're there with your grandchildren, Millie and Harper. Now, Millie and Harper, you have no idea what I'm saying because you're very young. I hope you will look back on this one day and understand what a special guy your grandpa is. Now, Tom, Kim, I understand your parents are yes, sir. And your parents, Bruce and Judy. So great, we welcome you and thank you as well for listening in virtually. I know that you guys would rather be here to celebrate this in person, but we're glad you could join us. Mr. Allen, I understand that you served 40 years as a Coast Guard civilian, so thank you for that. And Mr. Mulford, you were a fire control senior chief in the Navy, so thank you. What a family of service. How about a round of applause for that? So this ceremony that you're witnessing today is steeped in naval tradition. It's about continuity of command and transfer of ultimate responsibility from one individual to another. The chaplain alluded to that. And that's why we go all out and conducting a ceremony like this. It's symbolic of the reputation, of the responsibility of command, that weighty and awesome responsibility. You have to lead men and women under very difficult and trying circumstances. You have to look out for their families. You are entrusted with a solemn obligation to carry out the missions at the same time ensuring that our men and women return safely home each and every day. And our mission is important, but it's our people and our families who are priceless. And so this ceremony, in some way, is a celebration of the contributions of our families and what they do each and every day. So I'm going to make my remarks brief because I do want to give Admiral Allen a final opportunity to address the men and women of the First Coast Guard District, and I know you're all excited about hearing from John Martin as well as he lays out his vision for the First Coast Guard District. I will talk and highlight Admiral Allen's accomplishments here in D1, and they are significant. But to his family, you share in those accomplishments. I want you to know that. So as I recount some of the stuff that he's accomplished here, we're going to put a piece of candy on him here in a little bit. It is about you guys as well. So thank you. I want you to know that. And all of D1 shares in these accomplishments. Admiral Allen's that, of course, but you guys stepped up and followed his vision. So when I talk about these things and we read the citation a little bit, I want you to know that this would not have happened but for your professionalism, your dedication, your commitment, and your perseverance. So thank you. These are your accomplishments as much as they are his. And as I think about this ceremony today here in historic Faneuil Hall, I also think about not too far away over in Charlestown. We've got the USS Constitution, which was actually constructed at the Coast Guard base. And as I started reflecting, I thought about how a keel is laid anytime you build a new ship. And the keel is important because it's the keel that carries the weight of the ship itself. It's the keel about which all the members of the ship have to put their trust in and rely on so that that hull can take form and that ship can operate. And because the keel is so important, we actually have a separate ceremony for keeling. And one of the things that we say at the end of that ceremony is that the keel has been well and truly laid. So let me just preface my comments by saying, Tom, here, the keel has been well and truly laid for the First Coast Guard District. So well done. So over the last 2 years, he's been at the helm of the First Coast Guard District. I've got to get something off my chest, though. So as I reflect back on the New England Patriots of the last couple of seasons, I can't help but think that when he came in, we had a Class A NFL team that was just coming off the Super Bowl victory in 2019. And Tom, I don't know what happened. And my statisticians tell me that, correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation, but something happened. So John, I'm going to put the responsibility on your shoulders. And I expect next year, or the year after, the Patriots will be back in the game again. And look, Tom, I know you're a Maryland native, you're a big Washington football club fan, Washington Commanders now, but we still blame them. But I couldn't be prouder of the opportunity to serve with Tom and just witness all of his accomplishments as I was down in that area. And when you think about the awesome responsibility here professionals. The nation will continue to rely on you, continue to do good work. Now, I bet if I asked every one of the Coast Guard women and men in the audience what they did, they would say, "Oh, I'm in the Coast Guard." That's how we tend to define ourselves. I'm going to ask you to define yourselves in a new way. When somebody asks you what you do, you say, "I keep America open for business," because that's exactly what you do each and every day. And I couldn't be more proud of it. We have never pulled the throttles back despite COVID. COVID was a complexity. COVID was difficult here in the Northeast, especially. But you never let that slow you down. You never failed to answer the call, whatever the mission. You overcame the hardship, and you prevailed, and will continue to prevail, and you have my enduring gratitude. And that's despite all the restrictions on movement, the hardships of being out of the office and sort of not operating in crews that we usually operate in, school cancellations, impacting your family, child care challenges, and innumerable personal challenges that you had to face, either with you or your families as we dealt with COVID. Here's the point. Over the last 2 years, you did not let COVID define you. Over the last 2 years, what defined you was your service as maritime professionals, your service as maritime guardians. I applaud you for that. And Tom, you were at the helm this whole time. The op-tempo never relented, and you stood strong, you stood steadfast, and you led this crew through an incredible 2 years. I really appreciate the way you listened to your most junior personnel, and as I said, we're going to formally recognize you in a few minutes, and I don't want to steal all the thunder of what we're going to present to you, but I do just want to address a few things. It starts with the care and concern for our men and women and our families, what you've done as a leader on mental health issues, what you've done as a leader on financial health and well-being, what you've done as a leader to shore up training gaps in our system will reverberate into the future for our service. You've been a service leader. Your actions have inspired your crew, and that is because you care for the crew. You care for them, you care for their mission accomplishment, and you've been steadfast as they have been steadfast. You carry out my operational priorities here in D1, and I'm grateful for that. You have maintained maritime safety during this incredibly difficult period, especially as we've seen the emergence of offshore wind energy. This is the beginning of offshore clean energy here in the Northeast. And I want to tell you that Tom Edwards has set a standard that is extended to other aspects along the coast now that are looking to develop clean offshore energy, especially wind farms. There may be, I think, 14 ongoing wind projects right now in the Northeast, maybe thousands of wind turbines. And what Tom has done is he's led a process to make sure that maritime navigation is protected, can be done safely in those wind farm areas, but also that we can safely conduct our missions. It's about the safety of commerce and the safety of our crews. One of the things he did was he convened the first roundtable with about 80 people, industry and government, to come down and sit together to talk about different equities, get the stakeholders together to have a candid conversation and a candid dialogue about how we can achieve our mutual interest of clean energy that's safe and secure and environmentally responsible at the time that we can make sure that the maritime environment is safe for Coast Guard missions. He's engaged not only industry stakeholders, but government stakeholders as well, Department of Interior, Commerce, and Defense, to ensure that all equities are considered in this process. And again, I'm giving out a lot of details, but I want you to know that these are very complex projects with a lot of stakeholders and a lot of issues that we have to resolve. And Tom has been not just a leader here in the Northeast, but Tom has been a leader for our nation. And Tom, the other thing that I really applaud you for is your forward-leaning posture on so many other emerging issues that face our service. One is, here in the digital age, what you've done in the areas of driving, intelligence, and protecting waterways, protecting fisheries, protecting the security of our ports, and also ensuring national defense and our ability to get offshore to save those in distress. And Tom, I'm also very appreciative of your leadership of the North Atlantic Coast Guard Forum, what you've done to support our Canadian partners to help ensure that our international issues are presented, considered, and discussed. We are a global Coast Guard. We are a global Coast Guard, even though we focus on the homeland and as our primary mission, we are globally deployed, although we're all connected. And Tom has made sure that we are internationally relevant, whether it's working with partners in Canada or whether it's working with our partners in the North Atlantic Coast Guard Forum. And this is important because whether you are in Canada, whether you are in the Americas, whether you are in the Atlantic Basin, it's about ensuring that we are prepared collectively to address the scourge of drug trafficking, to reduce incidents of illegal and unreported and unregulated fishing, to promote environmental protection, and sustain that vital search and rescue capability. And again, I could go on and on in detail, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pause here, and I'm going to ask Tom to come forward so I can more formally recognize his program.
I'll now read the citation to accompany the award of the Legion of Merit to Admiral Tom Allen, official party police rise, military gas, section 2 award. Citation to accompany the award of Coast Guard Legion of Merit, Gold Star Local 4 to Admiral Thomas G. Allen, Jr., United States Coast Guard. Admiral Allen is cited for outstanding military services commander, 1st Coast Guard District from May 2020 to May 2022. When he led the district through the COVID-19 global pandemic, taking measures to protect 11,000 Coast Guard personnel while continuing to perform frontline operational missions. Following his first guiding principles of taking care of families and shipmates, he led several strategic initiatives to improve quality of life for Coast Guard members and their families. Responding to the suggestion of a junior petty officer, he commissioned a new mental health peer support program that trained personnel throughout the district to respond to others in need. Solving a persistent financial challenge for families assigned to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, he successfully advocated for remote assignment pay, a first for the Coast Guard. He addressed the district's most pressing operational challenges by leading careful consideration of the competing demands of the Northeast's increasing congested waterways, including the latest and largest container ships, new offshore wind energy development, and autonomous vessels. Admiral Allen took actions to address commercial fishing vessel safety, implementing new measures to increase Coast Guard oversight of vessel stability and watertight integrity, the issues that most frequently led to the loss of vessels and crews at sea. Showing exemplary strategic vision, he commissioned a study of the Coast Guard operational facilities in southeast New England, identifying the best course of action to avoid looming and unsustainable repair costs. He demonstrated outstanding operational leadership during the response to the fishing vessel Atlantic Destiny, a Canadian fishing vessel trawler that caught fire 200 miles northeast of Cape Cod. Working closely with Canadian partners, the 1st Coast Guard District Search and Rescue Planners and aircraft rescued all 31 people aboard the vessel before it sank in harrowing conditions. Admiral Allen's ability, diligence, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard.
serve this extraordinary public that we have here. I urge you to empower your crews, focus on the mission. You're going to be challenged, but your crew is the best that the nation has to offer. Trust them and empower them to do the job. Here's my caution to you. I'm going to go by fast. I was sitting right there where Tom Allen was, right now, 4 years ago, and I reflect back on my time as Commander D1. I don't know where that time went. So I'm going to go back quickly. Cherish this opportunity. Cherish the solemn obligation that you have. As you take command, I'm going to commend to you my commanders because I think it's critically important. The first is make sure that D1 remains great on the basics. What do I mean by that? Adhere to our operating principles, honesty and mission, bias for action, clear objectives. Always remain vigilant. Test your operating assumptions. Think forward, plan forward, and then act forward. And lastly, make sure that this group continues to stand stronger together. There's a fabric that binds us all as a Coast Guard. It's the ability to trust one another, to value each other, to know that the person sitting next to you or left or your right has your best interest at heart. That's why we operate in crews. We operate in crews because we build each other up. That is the fabric that sets the Coast Guard apart. Cherish it, promote it, and protect it. I'm incredibly proud of you. Congratulations. You're going to have a blast. If you need anything, I'll be down in D.C. Give me a call. All right? Hey, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Simple promise.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce Rear Admiral Tom Allen, Commander, 1st Coast Guard District.
Good morning. You know, you sit up here and you're upstairs a little bit talking before this all began, and you think you know who's going to be here, and then you get here and you see the faces, and you see everyone dressed up, and you see everyone enjoying themselves, and I got to tell you, it just throws me for a complete loop. So thank you for joining us today, Lord. I appreciate it. It's a privilege to be here with you today. Well, it's truly been my pleasure to be the D1 commander. This really is a celebration of D1 crew and their families. The United States Coast Guard cannot be the great organization we are without the support and dedication of our families. Speaking of families, I'd like to welcome my beautiful wife, Kim, my boys, Connor and Ryan, who are with us here, my son, Tyler, his wife, Alex, Lillian Harper, who joined us from Virginia, Amanda, who's joining us from Florida, my parents, Tom and Billy, who are joining us from Maryland, and Kim's parents, who are joining us, Judy and Bruce, who are joining us from North Carolina. We truly are that geographically diverse Coast Guard family. So thank you all for being here. Kim and I would like to welcome the new D1 commander incoming, John, Leah, Ella, and I know he couldn't be here. Is he in the middle of the AV test right now? Is that where he is? I'm not sure. And John, I know this is a return to New England for you. Enjoy. You are going to get to meet so many great people here. You're going to get back to those chowders, lobster rolls, and every once in a while there's a few fanatic fans. Some in Boston, some in New York City. They have great love for each other, so enjoy it. Thanks for all that are joining us virtually. We've got a lot of people joining us virtually, and a lot of mentors, a lot of people, especially me. Certainly my sisters and brothers, some aunts and uncles, some friends. Welcome to you all. It's really great to have you joining us in this new way, something that we did take back from COVID. And to the members of the great Academy class of 1990, thanks for your continued support. We really appreciate you being here. But I really want to provide a warm welcome to the most important VIPs today, and that's the D1 crews. And I say D1 crew, and I mean that in the most loving way, because I see our base counterparts, and if you can't tell the difference between the D1 crews and the base and the air station and the sector, that's a great thing, because I think we all come together to try and make this region and the Coast Guard better for everyone else. So let me take the time to start by talking about the success of the D1 team here. As I entered into this, our Commandant Admiral Colonel Schultz directly called us to be a ready, responsive, and relevant Coast Guard. And then the land area commander came in, Admiral Stephen Poulin, and as you just heard, he called us to be brilliant on the basics, remain vigilant, and be stronger together. Admiral, I think you've done that. I think you've got that in all kinds of ways from D1. And I got to tell you, I really appreciate Admiral Poulin being here. You hadn't heard, he was just recently confirmed to be the Vice Admiral of the Coast Guard. He did a change of command in Chesapeake on Wednesday. He's doing this one. He's going to be doing a retirement next week. So thank you very much, sir, for taking time to come and spend it with the D1 crews. The national importance of D1 can't be underestimated, and Admiral Poulin talked a lot about that. And certainly it's the passenger vessels, it's the search and rescue, it's the critical infrastructure that we protect and maintain here in the Northeast. It's the critical fisheries that we ensure is going on. It's really been a delight to have the crews that are going out and really understand what that mission is and why they're here to make that happen. In the context of history, this region holds significance. It's the birthplace of the organization that came together to form the modern-day Coast Guard in 1915. Massachusetts Humane Society, founded in 1786, became the model for the U.S. Lighthouse establishment and the U.S. Light Saving Service in 1848. Alexander Hamilton, he's laid to rest in New York City. He created the U.S. Revenue Cutter Service on August 4th, 1790. And the first Revenue Cutter christened in Massachusetts, was just built up the road in Newburyport, Massachusetts in 1790. And of course, the United States' first lighthouse, the Boston Light, was lit in 1716, continues to shine brightly today. I know you are. The Coast Guard's responsibilities have grown since then in order to keep pace with the changes in the maritime industry. And there's no better place to reflect these changes than right here in D1. Here, our crews carry out that legacy that protected the maritime transportation and its $5.4 trillion impact on GDP, along with the 30 million people that make the maritime their own core business. To complete this important mission of the Coast Guard, we need talented, knowledgeable, and purpose-driven people. And I got to tell you, we have those in D1. Let me tell you about one. Her name is Michelle Lissitano. Michelle is a Coast Guard civilian, very talented, but when she's not here, she's up in Maine. She's owns an apple orchard and an ice creamery. But really what she does for the Coast Guard, and Admiral Poulin talked a little bit about it, is she's a specialist on renewable energies. She is working hard with industry, with all kinds of partners, to look at 14 areas offshore that's going to allow us to have thousands of turbines, 900 feet long, providing 9 gigawatts of power into the Northeast. This is changing the way the Northeast looks, how we work, and how we do things. That's going to provide power to over 1 million homes within the next decade. It's amazing to have someone like Michelle, along with a very strong team in the district, coming together to provide people the opportunity to share ideas, to deconflict the waterways, and make sure we are ready and prepared for the future. As we look to modernize the Coast Guard, I'd like to talk about Lieutenant Commander Tyler Kelly. He's a career veteran. Tyler's helping to bring D1 transition to 6 state-of-the-art first fast response pilots. And he did that first as our planner. He started to develop a plan on how we were going to bring those in, how we were going to build a $35 million pier right here in Boston that's under construction, how we're going to take $280 million worth of cutters and make them operate within the First Coast Guard District AOR. He did all of that, and I was so happy to see him chosen as the first CO of the FRC that's coming in this summer. He's going to be the senior officer president of Float, and he's really doing a lot of things to prepare Boston for 222 new crew members that are going to come and call Boston home and do great missions that will enforce laws and treaties, protect vital fish stocks, ensure national security, and most importantly, save lives. Tyler is chartering a course and sailing us into the future. But our remarkable members don't all come from Boston. They come from all over D1 to make a difference. For example, I want to talk about BM3 Justin Miller. We've got a lot of BM3s within the Coast Guard. But I always encourage my crews when I go out to speak up. They've got great ideas. They know what we're supposed to be doing. They know how we can do things better. And she did just that. She pulled me aside. During a unit visit, she came and she described the vision of a network of junior Coast Guard members trained to recognize, listen, and respond to others who needed mental health assistance. Inspired by our vision, I turned to these two great guys up on the podium, Master Chief Tom Daniels and Chaplain James Reagan, and I asked them to design and implement a program. To date, that program has now 50 volunteers, and the district volunteers are helping to prepare and help our people that are having mental struggles, dealing with marriage problems, and other kind of things. It's amazing what they're doing. While there are many examples of program success, one quote from a recent trainee best captures the achievements of the program. I am tremendously grateful to the Coast Guard for this training. I was literally able to save the life of someone very close to me, my wife, and I thank you for giving me that opportunity. Well done, BM3 Miller. Thank you very much for speaking on and for talking to us. In Maine, the Coast Guard crews are integral members of the communities. It's small communities up there. Daily, our cutters and stations operate in calm and stormy weather to protect our natural resources and ensure fishermen make it back to their families. In Southwest Harbor, DC-1 Justin Hansen and GM-1 Kyle Roosevelt, I'll never get the last name right, work to support our operation units. But they don't stop there. At the end of the day, Justin and Kyle head from the Coast Guard unit to the local fire department. They lead training, they maintain assets, and they respond when needed. And respond is exactly what they did on the night of Friday, February 10th, 2022, when a massive wooden structure fire engulfed the Blue Nose Inn in Bar Harbor. Our two Coast Guard petty officers acted heroically, spending most of the night fighting the fire in cold, miserable weather, protecting nearby homes and businesses. When I asked them, what are you guys doing? They told me because this is their community and they have it in their hand. Thanks DC-1 and GM-1 for always remaining simple for us. And what would a Coast Guard speech be without a sea story? On the night of March 2nd, 2021, it was a dark and stormy night. The 1st District Command Center responded to a fire aboard the fishing vessel Atlantic Destiny, a 142-foot Canadian boat on the eastern edge of the Georges Bank. The fishing boat was approximately 200 miles east of Cape Cod and 125 miles south of Nova Scotia. The fire damaged the hull. The vessel was taking the water and the cold. 30-foot seas and 31 people on board. 2 Canadian Commandant helicopters, a Royal Canadian Air Force, Hercules airplane, 2 Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod Jayhawk helicopters, and a Coast Guard Ocean Century airplane responded. Battling winds gusts of 60 knots, the aircraft battled bad weather, critical equipment failures, and the rolling and heaving of this disabled fishing vessel to rescue the entire crew of fishing vessel Atlantic Destiny. And they did that just in time as it succumbed to flooding and sank. For their heroic efforts, crews from Air Station Cape Cod were awarded 3 distinguished flying crosses, 4 Coast Guard Air Medals, and a number of other awards. Bravo Zulu to those crews. I like to see D1 as a workhorse of the Coast Guard. We might not be doing the flashing missions on a daily basis, but we are doing all the missions that make the Coast Guard great. We are conducting search and rescue to bring mariners in distress home to their families. We are breaking ice and frozen rivers in the winter so unheating oil can be delivered. We are inspecting vessels from all over the world to ensure ports are secure and safe. As 1st District Commander, it was my honor to meet so many warm and welcoming people, making a big difference for the community, the Coast Guard, and the nation. Right here in Boston, our own Sally Snowman, the last lighthouse keeper in the Coast Guard, faithfully watches over Boston Light. She greets every visitor in traditional colonial garb, beats even the youngest coastie to the top of the narrow, iron spiral staircase and its 79 stairs. And sadly, she's plus of 60. She will beat you while keeping the history of this port and her service alive. In Jonesport, Maine, I met 99, and she was clear about it, 99-and-a-half-year-old Florence Smith, who served in the Women's Reserve, also known as the Spars, during World War II. A patriot and trailblazer, she really is. She provided a space for women in the Coast Guard missions, which ultimately led to many women joining the service. Today, I'm proud to say 4 of my 5 sectors in D1 are commanded by great women. In Chatham, Mass., Bill Amarillo and his son Jason Amarillo, 2 commercial fishermen, invited me aboard the Coast Guard CG 3659. As most of you know, that boat was used in the nation's greatest boat rescue when a crew led by Bernie Weber rescued 32 crew members from the SS Pendleton in a historic nor'easter. Bill and Jason worked hard to keep the history of this rescue alive, and the wooden boat is in excellent shape. We actually got it underway throughout the harbor. The crew at Station Chatham also makes sure the story of the Coast Guard's finest hours is told to local schools, keeping our traditions alive. Mr. Mark Regan from the Coast Guard Foundation is a representative that gets involved by advocating for service members, providing donors new ways to contribute to the Coast Guard members' resiliency and offering relief to families during our darkest hours. Thank you, Mark, for all you and the Coast Guard Foundation do. Our friends at UMass Boston, led by Mr. Tom, worked hard to develop new and unique ways for the Coast Guard to bring in new officers to OCS through our C-Spike program, and also help pave the way to develop a 5-year STEM program, which will provide time at UMass and the Coast Guard Academy to commission new Coast Guard officers. Tom, thank you very much for pushing that all the way through. And I can't stop without mentioning Mr. Don Cox. Mr. Don Cox, a friend of the Massachusetts Military Support Foundation. This outstanding group works hard every day to help satisfy the critical needs and enhance the well-being and quality of life for veterans, active duty, and military families. Through their efforts, they have provided more than 5 million pounds of food and numerous examples of individual support to our groups. They not only do that every day, but they were real heroes during the shutdown. It's bittersweet to relinquish command, but the memories of all these great people make me extremely proud of the D1's achievements. I commend all the crews on a job well done. The job is exciting, challenging, and rewarding. I've set the track line, but it was an extremely talented front office team that made the vision a reality. Thank you, Jenna Sanders, Susan Jenna Sanders, Lieutenant Corey Morallo, Commanders Matt Baker, and Commander Ray Calista. And of course, behind the scenes, help from Lionel Jared Dunn, Lionel Ellen Upton, and anyone who Perez. Your heavy lifting made the journey impactful, easier, and a whole lot of fun. In every move I made, I strove to make people my #1 responsibility, working closely with them to accomplish our mission. With Master Chief Tom Daniels, Master Chief Justin Knudsen, Captain Mike Barton, Captain Kristen Trago, Captain Rob Warren, and Captain Chris Lander. We led from the front to take care of our families and each other, make safety a priority, provide tools to allow our crews to master the craft, build robust partnerships, and have fun. And I really had a lot of fun with these great coasties in this remarkable part of the country. I will tell you, you get to serve with different people, and it's truly a blessing. As you know, in the Northeast, to get from Boston to down east is a little bit of a trip on there. We had a car full of about 4 people all the time. It was Jenna Sanders driving, it was Corey Morallo navigating, making sure everything was going on. And with me and the Master Chief in the back. And I would be reading, and I'd be trying to catch up, and Master Chief would be entertaining everyone. He'd be keeping us laughing, he'd keep us going, he made things great. Master Chief and I got served twice together, and I will miss you tremendously, Master Chief, as you head off on your retirement. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for what you are going to do, I know, in your next journey. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know you're going to do great things. To my family, you're truly the wind in my sails, the light burning whenever I Thank you for always providing your unconditional love. I truly would not be here without my parents, my in-laws, and my children. Thank you. Kim, thank you for being my partner in this journey, for all your sacrifices, and for always providing an ear with the right words. I love you. Will we give her a round of applause? I truly enjoyed my time in command. It passed by way too quickly, John. But provided me memories that will last a lifetime. I want to thank you all for attending today's ceremony, whether in person or virtually. For all my crews, we're going to have a new great D1 commander, but always remember to hit it hard and hit it fast. May God bless America and send it for us. I will now read my orders from Personnel Service Command to Admiral Tom Allen. On relief as Commander, 1st Coast Guard District, detached and report to U.S. Southern Command as a J3.
Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Logger will now read his orders.
Fantastic. I will now read my order. From Commander Coast Guard Personnel Service Center to Rear Admiral John W. Maher, U.S. Coast Guard. Subject, orders, new assignment. Detach upon relief as Assistant Commandant for Prevention Policy and report to duty as Commander, 1st Coast Guard District.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my honor to introduce Rear Admiral John Logger, Commander, 1st Coast Guard District.
All right, thank you, Chief of Staff. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is really, truly an honor to be here with you today. And so I especially want to thank the good folks of Boston here for cranking up the heat a little bit to welcome Lee and I north. Although Lee and I really enjoyed our time in New England, we've had a couple of years up here. We spent the last 17 years down in the South, and so our blood is not quite thick enough yet. And so a chance to get here for one morning has been great, and we really appreciate the chance to ease into it. Vice Admiral Bolin, sir, thanks so much for presiding here over this change of command. You heard from Vice Admiral Bolin how much he enjoyed his time here in the 1st Coast Guard District. It's really an honor to have you here, sir. And Tom, again, congratulations. Really, really excited for you guys. What a great command, great opportunity, and wish you all the best in your next assignment. I think this weather's a little bit of a warm-up for you guys too, and so I hopefully it's going to let you guys thaw out a little bit before you head to Miami. Lee and I are really grateful for all the support that you've provided us to help ease this transition along the way. So thank you so much. Master Chief Gang, thank you so much for being here to represent the women and men in the 1st Coast Guard District. It really is an honor to have a chance to have met you, to hear how you paid attention to all of those things that the 1st Coast Guard District men and women need, and you care for them so greatly. I wish you all the best in your transition, in your our state and local partners here and the maritime industry representatives, thanks so much for participating in today's ceremony. Above all else, we as Coast Guard men and women are public servants. We are committed to the safety, the security, and the sustainability of our nation's waters. And while our job is to serve the maritime communities of the 1st Coast Guard District, we really couldn't accomplish this mission without your support. I know this from my own personal experience and all of the mentoring that I've received from our maritime industry partners over the years. Thank you for all that you do to support our Coast Guard members and their families. I really look forward to continuing our strong partnerships together and forging new ones. To my family and friends, hey, many thanks for participating in today's ceremony and for your support. In addition to my family represented here, my in-laws, Ken and Donna Dills, are watching remotely today. Ken and Donna have provided so much support for our family. Ken and Donna grew up in a rural part of Kansas there, and I know they wanted to be here in person. But when they found out that Charlie Ray wasn't going to preside over the ceremony, they decided to participate virtually. They've only met Charlie once, but if anybody's met Charlie, they know they became instantly best friends. And so, it's great to have you here with us today. I've also got a big brother, Bill, who's joining remotely as well. Bill is a Coast Guard groupie. He stays up to date on all of the latest Coast Guard operations and news. I know he's going to be watching the 1st District intently, and he's going to get on me if he senses that I'm losing my edge or letting our crews down. And then to my kids, Ella and Ethan, hey, thanks so much for your support. I'm really proud of you guys. I know it's a big change for us, but I look forward to this new adventure with you. You know, when we were talking about this as a family, I think Ethan summed it up the best when I asked him, hey, if we put in for this, we might get the chance to be a district commander. And he said, Dad, you ought to do it. He said, you seem like you like this, and you're going to be pretty good at it. So give it a try. So thanks, Ethan. To my wife, Leah, hey, thanks so much. I simply couldn't do this without your support, nor would I want to. Your selfless support to me, our Coast Guard families, and our own family really inspires me. You've been beside me for the last 31 years and stuck with me even after I convinced you to move from Honolulu to Cape May on the premise that they're very similar. They both have sun and beaches, right? And so this was before the internet. And it was also the summer before the day froze over. So we're going better now. But New England and D1 have many great memories for us, and I look forward to making more with you. Thank you. I love you. I'm really proud of Leah and all that she's done, but she's part of an amazing group of larger people there, our military spouses. Our spouses are exceptional caretakers, project managers, communicators, and really leaders. In this day and age, when you could be an effective worker from anywhere, I really encourage all employers to actively recruit our military spouses. They are selfless, amazing people. We're very fortunate that Leah works for an innovative remote-first company focused on improving healthcare. And so to Daryl and Melissa, if you're able to watch while Leah's away from Lintas, thanks so much for all the support that you've provided to and being one of the military spouse employers that take care of our families. Thank you. And then lastly, let me recognize the folks that have been here with me the longest. My mom and dad and my sisters, Jen and Jessica, who have really just an honor to be with you here today. What I would say is your support and guidance over many years is finally paying off, all right? And it's great to celebrate this moment with you. Although we grew up in Philadelphia, my parents nurtured a love for New England. My parents were teachers and school administrators, and their work schedule allowed us to travel and vacation during the summer. And so we spent several summers on the lakes in Maine, and that's where I learned to sail. And we spent time biking and canoeing down the country roads and the rivers. And we also went along the coast, eating bean suppers and enjoying the tide pools from Cape Elizabeth to Bar Harbor. These summers are probably the reason that my sister Jess ended up graduating from the University of New Hampshire, and probably why I ended up at the Coast Guard Academy and then later WPI. My time at WPI FBI Omarosa is where Leah and I furthered our appreciation to New England, spending time with her mom on Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and camping on the cliffs overlooking the beaches of Pomeranian. As I think back on all these memories, two things really stick out. First of all my fond memories occurred in the months of July and August. And second, they all involve the water. The waterways of New England and the 1st Coast Guard District are a source of inspiration, sustenance, and trade, which provide untold recreational and economic benefits to the people of New England and our nation. The women and men of the 1st Coast Guard District are auxiliaries, reservists, civilians, and active duty members work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to ensure the safety, security, and sustainability of this vital resource. I am so honored to serve this team of maritime professionals. We are steeped in our history, but keeping a watchful eye on our future, and united by the desire to be the first to lead. D1 has been the first to lead throughout our service's history and through many of the challenges that we face as a nation. Today, we continue this legacy of being the first to lead. First to lead our people, nurturing their professional growth and their professional development, supporting them and their families. First to lead our missions, ensuring the safety, security, and sustainability of our waterways and maritime resources through our own actions, and most importantly, by partnering with state, local, and regional and industry and NGOs to provide effective governance. And first to lead into the future, preparing ourselves for this changing operating environment and emerging capabilities and missions, some of which you've heard about today. To the women and men of the 1st Coast Guard District, it is an honor to serve you. Your selflessness, professionalism, and grit inspires Master Chief Ingham and I. Please continue to adhere to the Coast Guard core values of honor, respect, devotion to duty, and apply the principles in Part 1 to plan and execute your operations. Take pride in your contribution to the 1st Coast Guard District and embrace your reputation as the first to lead. Thank you, and Semper Paratus. These ceremonies couldn't happen without a lot of hard work by a lot of talented people. And so before I sit down, I just want to say thanks to all those folks that pulled this together. Lieutenant Francis, Commander Polesa, Lieutenant Morales, Lieutenant J.D. Gold, Chaps, the band, everybody really pitched in today to really make this a nice ceremony. Let's give them one last round. Chief Staff, all standing orders remain in effect. Take charge of the group.
Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction of being standing for the time of the public and followed by the department and the official part. I Senior Bill Cuddy will now deliver the benediction.
Let's pray. Shepherd of souls, be near to those who call upon you, and by your guide, Spirit, strengthen us, and strengthen your servants, Rear Admiral Allen and Munger, so they serve as beacon of hope and inspiration to those that they lead, mentor, and advise. Bless and keep in the palm of your hand, Kim and Leah, as they, along with their children and their families, provide Tom and John with love, support, and encouragement. May their staff, active, reserve, civilian, auxiliary, be vigilant in their duties as they courageously work to secure tranquility and defense for our homeland and the world community. Be faithful in commitment to protect our citizens and the environment against those who do harm. Be true to the cause of justice and peace. O Lord, send your Spirit, your blessings upon each of us today. Give hope to the faint of heart, give courage to those who doubt, be the rock of surety to those who sin. We make these and all of our prayers in the holy and divine name. We all say, Amen. Amen.
Now, First District departing. Now, Rear Admiral, United States Coast Guard departing. This concludes today's official ceremony. You're cordially invited to a reception immediately following